What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Back again with another video, and today we're going to be ranking the 2023 Dynasty quarterbacks for Superflex or 1QB leagues. Either one, doesn't matter. But these are going to be my rankings of the top 12 Dynasty quarterbacks going into next season. So first, we're going to start off with my S tier, and my number one ranked quarterback, Josh Allen. Not much to say. He is just a stud. He runs the ball, throws the ball really well, and scores a lot of points. Number two is Patrick Mahomes. Does everything Josh Allen does, fantasy-wise, just a little worse. He doesn't run the ball as much, but he can run the ball, and he has run the ball. So that's why he's at 3 for me, and 2 for me, and three is a real tough one for me. I am gonna go with this guy, Jalen Hurts. I know it's been one season, a season and one breakout season, but he's an MVP candidate this year. He runs the ball extremely well, racks up fantasy points. My only concern is his health because of how much he runs the ball. But the good news is he also improved a lot as a thrower this offseason. So I commend him for that improvement, and he deserves to be ranked at 3, but in the A tier. Not in the S tier yet. I can't put him there, even though he had a great season. Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, for me, they're a tier of their own. They're the top 2, undisputed. Now, 3 for me is between 2 players, and I'm gonna give it to this guy, Joe Burrow. He's in a bit of a better situation. He has young receivers, and he has a dynamic offense. His offensive line is worse than the other guy that I'm going to rank right behind him, which is Justin Herbert. I like Joe Burrow more because his situation is better. He's got young receivers that'll be around him for probably his whole career, at least one of either T. Higgins or Jamar Chase. The offensive line has gotten better. He's gotten better. Justin Herbert, still very good. Great fantasy option. Was not that great this year, fantasy-wise. Their receivers dealt with injuries. He didn't have a lot to work with. So that is why he has moved down to 5 as opposed to 3. And for me, that's the end of the A tier. I don't know. There's not really many others that I think can go in that A tier. And the start of the B tier for me is Trevor Lawrence. The dude has been an absolute stud the end of this season. He has been looking like an elite quarterback. He has taken the next step, and I would say that he is on the verge of becoming a superstar if he isn't already. I love Trevor Lawrence coming out of the draft. I didn't draft him in Dynasty, unfortunately. I wish I had, but I'm very happy that Trevor Lawrence is finally breaking out. It makes me happy to see, and he is becoming a great fantasy option. He throws the ball a lot, and that Doug Peterson loves to throw the ball, and he also rushes for some touchdowns too. He has put up some rushing touchdowns, and that he's not afraid to run the ball. He's not afraid to scramble, which is a great sign to see in a quarterback. So on to the next one in Tier B. I'm between 2, but I'm going to give it to Deshaun Watson because I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, oh, he was so bad the end of this year. He really let me down. I picked him up in my one quarterback league. I picked him up off waivers or in free agency, whatever. I drafted him late. I wanted to stash him, and I was hoping for better. Me too. I drafted him in the 5th round of my Dynasty Starter draft, but it didn't end up working out. And I'm going to blame that on he hasn't played football in like 700 days. He hadn't played football in 700 days. And, throwing the ball in practice and just like to whoever he was throwing to while he was suspended is so much different than playing game speed in the NFL, going through reads. He's still got the amazing talent. You saw it last week. Last week he played much, much better. He was much improved last week, and it gave me hope for the future. So I'm going to put him here and at 7, and I'm thinking that's a good spot for him. Now, I know some people might be wondering, where's Lamar Jackson? Where's Lamar Jackson? And to be honest, I'm going to put him next at 8, but I don't feel confident in that. And he's going to stay in Tier B, but again, I'm also debating putting him in C. And here's why. The last 2 years, he has gotten injured, and I'm nervous about his health. He runs the ball a lot. He's one of the best runners. He's the best running quarterback in the NFL. He is he's a beast, and he is a monster for fantasy, but it's the injuries that scare me. Also, not knowing where he's going to be next year. Now, I think that the Ravens will re-sign him, but not knowing for sure where he'll be is also a bit frightening. But the talent is there. If he's healthy, he is a top 5 fantasy quarterback at the very least. So, I think you're probably going to be able to get him at a discount this year in fantasy redraft, or not fantasy redraft, redraft as well, but also for Dynasty startup drafts. I think you're probably going to be able to get a discount on him this year. So it might be something to take advantage of. We'll have to see come draft time. And for me, the next tier starts with Bryce Young. He can run the ball and he can throw the ball, and I'm excited to see how he does in the NFL. I think he's going to be good. Now, he's not as good of a runner as other quarterbacks on this list. It's not like a run-first quarterback, but he is not afraid to escape the pocket and make throws on the run. And I think that if he goes to a good situation, he could be a very good fantasy option. Now that I think about it, I actually am going to move him down 1, and I'm putting Justin Fields ahead of him. Justin Fields this year showed how really, truly how good he is as a runner. And I think that the injuries scare me. Yes, they do. And the offense is terrible, but it can get better. They're going to get better. You would imagine they'd get better. Even if they don't get better, he still has that rushing upside that gives him a fairly high floor. So I think that that's safe here. He's still young, but it is still a little scary with injuries. Running quarterbacks scare me with injuries, if you haven't been able to tell so far. Now, this next ranking is going to be a little controversial probably, but I actually think I'm going to slide Bryce Young down, and I'm going to put Anthony Richardson above him. Now, this isn't for next season. This is ranking the quarterbacks going into next season. So not necessarily what I think they're going to finish as going into next season quarterback-wise, but what quarterbacks I like most in Dynasty startup drafts. And I think Anthony Richardson is a stud. His rushing ability is amazing. Like, it's mesmerizing, like how he runs the ball. He makes plays with his feet. He makes plays with his arm. He's got all the arm talent in the world. He is raw, but I don't think he's as raw as people think, as people are like leading on. I feel like people are kind of off the mark when they're ranking of how truly raw he is. Yes, he misses throws. Yes, he misses reads. But and there's an accuracy concern. But there also has been plenty of film of him manipulating defenses with his eyes and just making great throws and good reads. So I think that he is raw, yes, and I think that sitting behind a good developmental quarterback or coach for a year or two would help him tremendously. Once he does play, he's going to be special. I really like him, and I think that he is going to be special. And now number 12 on our list in the D tier is C.J. Stroud. Now this isn't hate on C.J. Stroud at all. Obviously, he's in here over players like Kyler Murray, Trey Lance, other quarterbacks like that are young and also have proven to be good fantasy options, but both have injuries. And I'm going to put C.J. Stroud here, not solely based on his performance against Georgia, but I had concerns with C.J. Stroud before that game, and ever since that game, those have been put to bed. Not entirely, obviously, because there's still film out there of his lack of ability to throw under pressure, but the fact that he completely changed my outlook on him against Georgia, and that was a huge boost for him on my board, and also just the way I feel about him as a player. I think he's going to be much better than I originally thought in the NFL. He made runs for first downs. He scrambled, and he made all the throws he needed to make, and I think that he's going to be a very good quarterback in the NFL. And I'm going to put him here at 12 because he's very young. He's coming in now this year in your rookie drafts. Make sure you pick up one of these three quarterbacks if you need a quarterback. Any of these three you can't go wrong with. Of course, it's hard to rank these rookie quarterbacks before you know where they're going, what situation they're going to be in, even before like the combine and the Senior Bowl and all the off-season stuff with rookies. It's hard to rank them, but these are my preliminary rankings. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let me know if you have any video ideas, and follow me on Instagram at LV Raiders News for Raiders News if you're a Raiders fan. If not, subscribe. Here I will be posting Dynasty content, fantasy football content, and also I will be posting Raiders content, draft content, pretty much anything football related that will be posted here on this channel. So yeah, have a good day, guys, and thank you for joining me. Peace.